And I completely panicked through the interview. So at some point, I was speaking gibberish. I didn't know what I was saying. And it went so bad, even I myself could basically feel it. So getting into YC, I think what most people don't know is that we got rejected like 5 times before we actually got accepted into YC. And just taking it back, it was a whole process up until we got to that point. So I like to joke that Triply is the most accelerated tech startup on the continent, because we had to go through 3 accelerators, and it was necessary for us to be able to even stand a chance at getting into YC. So I remember the whole thing was when Michael friend and we had a conversation at Nairobi Garage, and I was telling him, you know what, if we build this MVP, what's going to happen is that I'm going to apply and I'm going to get us into YC, and all we needed was just basically an MVP, and that was unfortunately not the reality. So he built the MVP, and we applied into YC, and we did not even get an interview. So we asked ourselves what's more local, what's more available, and we're very grateful to Baobab, who basically gave us a chance. But we even got rejected by Baobab. I still give them hell for that. They rejected us, and we were able to get in on the second try. But at the same time, as much as we had Baobab support, and we still needed access to international support or international funding for that matter. And as much as Baobab was able to propel us forward, we still needed further support. And so second to YC is an accelerator called 500 Startups, for those of us who know what they are. So they've invested or they've accelerated some of the biggest startups on the continent as well. One notably would be Cheaper. And so we applied to 500 startups. I honestly did not think that they would, after our previous rejection, I didn't think that they would give us a chance. And so got the first interview, and then got into the second interview. And I think at the second interview, I was meeting a lady called Maram, and she was the head of investments for Africa. And at that point, I was like, okay, this is actually going to happen. This might actually happen. We might actually get a chance to get into a global accelerator. And I completely panicked through the interview. So at some point, I was speaking gibberish. I didn't know what I was saying. And it went so bad, even I myself could basically feel it. And so after the interview, I was so down. So what I did was I reached back out to Maram, and I was like, listen, I don't think that interview went well. I'd like a chance to have another conversation. And they were gracious enough to give us that opportunity, and that is how we ended up getting into 500 startups. Now remember, this whole time, we're still still applying to YC. We got interviewed by Michael Siebel, and we were so unprepared, because I remember the first time we interviewed with Michael, he asked us, what is your take rate, what is your GMV, and you're trying to learn all of these new terms at the same time. And so unfortunately, of course, for lack of better reasons, we could not get in. And I remember we had now gone through 500. We were actually raising our seed round, and we were at a good place because we'd gotten to a point where we had commitments, and we felt like things were not necessarily working out well, because there was a lot of turbulence in terms of what was happening in the market at the time, with the government coming hard on short-term rental owners who were basically supporting. And so I remember it was because we'd applied to YC so many times and gotten rejected so many times. I knew how to apply. I could do it in a matter of minutes. It was around 10 p.m. Either on a Friday or Thursday or Friday. No, I think Thursday evening. And my co-founder and I and some people were in the office, and we were just like, you know what, let's make a Hail Mary attempt to get into YC one more time. And we applied. It was on the last day of the YC, application sort of like window. So we applied. We were shocked. We got the interview 2 weeks later. And then we were, I remember Tom, who was our partner who interviewed us. We did not meet Michael, which was a good thing for us. He gave us trauma. He gave us, he basically set up a second meeting, and during the second meeting, he asked us to demo our product and talk about what we were working on, and we got the invitation to join YC at the end of the call. And so I think moral of the story is that, one, we got rejected 5 times. We had to go through 2 other accelerators to basically get us ready to be able to compete at the level that YC needed us to complete as an African startup. And there were so many lessons and so many learnings. I think when you're dealing with investors, when you're trying to fundraise, there's so many things that you learn along the way that prepared us and helped us get into YC as the first African travel tech company to ever get into the competition. But it was hard, and we got rejected a lot.